All right, there's a Mike Tyson controversy, and I'm going to speak on my opinion regarding this. The majority of people that I talk to, and granted, I don't talk to thousands and thousands of white people, but I do talk to quite a few, and even the ones that I talked to when that Mike Tyson rape situation occurred. Even they said that Mike was being railroaded. Now, for those of you who weren't familiar with this, there was a black beauty pageant woman who went to Mike Tyson's room after 10 o'clock at night. Okay, that in itself is no big deal. Okay, apparently there was sexual activity that took place. Okay, again, Mike is obviously an adult, and the woman, and she was over 18, was an adult. What happened here was after they were done, Mike basically dismissed her, and she got ticked off and basically ran to the police crying rape because Mike wouldn't personally take her home. Okay, fine. He said, she said, nobody really knows what goes on in a hotel room. But Mike's mistake in this whole thing was to rely on Don King to obtain an attorney. And Don King basically had gotten pissed off at him. So instead of Don King acquiring a strong, and I mean strong, criminal defense attorney, and Mike had the money obviously to afford one, Don King goes out and gets him a tax attorney. So as far as I was concerned, this was basically a setup. And Mike basically was convicted and did 3 years for the rape. And to this day, Mike says that he did not rape that woman. He served his time, so here nor there. But that woman went to his hotel room, in my opinion, to have sex, and to have sex with Mike Tyson. She got what she wanted, but he basically, in dismissing her, pissed her off. And you do not want to mess around with a pissed off woman, plain and simple. So now fast forward to today. And Mike Tyson obviously has been friends with Donald Trump for years, and stepped out and endorsed Donald Trump. That's his friend, his endorsement. Got no problem with that. Here comes Ted Cruz, basically pointing out the fact that Donald Trump is getting the endorsement of a rapist. Okay, that's fine. But Ted Cruz chose to ignore that Donald Trump also got the endorsement and traveled around with and made appearances with Bobby Knight, Digger Phelps, and Lou Holtz. Never mentioned those three people, but only mentioned Mike Tyson. And Donald Trump did not travel around with Mike Tyson. He did get an endorsement, okay, face to face. But after that, that was the end of it. So anyway, here's the Fox clip making mention of the entire situation.
Jumping tonight in the final hours to the critical Indiana primary, the Cruz campaign is trying to use a Trump endorsement against him. Mr. Trump made a point this weekend of promoting the fact that boxing great Mike Tyson is endorsing him. The problem is that Tyson was convicted of rape in Indiana back in 1992, and the Cruz campaign has been hitting Trump and Tyson repeatedly. Here is Trace Gallagher joining us once again tonight with the background and the details in this story. Trey.
Yeah, and just because you're convicted of something, that doesn't mean that the conviction is correct, and we've seen that over and over again.
Yes.
And you recall, Martha, Mike Tyson served 3 years for raping a 17-year-old beauty pageant contestant who
she was 18.
Taught Sunday school. At the time, Donald Trump said Tyson was railroaded, arguing that on the night of the rape, the victim was seen dancing with a big smile on her face and willingly went to Mike Tyson's room. Now, Trump has stirred up the controversy again by saying this. Listen.
Mike Tyson endorsed me. I love it. He said on a tweet, Mike, Iron Mike, You know, all the tough guys endorse me. I like that.
And Donald Trump says, well, Tyson is a tough guy. You know what, John? I don't think rapists are tough guys. I think rapists are weak, they're bullies, and they're cowards.
Ted Cruz's VP pick, Carly Fiorina, added this, quoting, "I think it says a lot about Donald Trump's campaign and his character that he is standing up and cheering for an endorsement by Mike Tyson." Outspoken Trump supporter Roger Stone responded, saying Fiorina's remarks show that she's a racist, though he did not explain why. And the man who prosecuted Mike Tyson, Greg Garrison, who's now a conservative talk radio host, also questioned the judgment of the Trump campaign, saying, quoting here, "In Indiana? Really? Did nobody in that whole entourage of yours know that that snake raped a lovely kid in this town? I think I'd beef up my intelligence operation a little bit."
Yeah, and he should have beefed up his intelligence operation because that lovely kid had also had a previous encounter with someone who she attempted to create a false narrative on, and that particular case was thrown out. So she had a history. They just couldn't bring that history up at Mike's trial.
On Fox News Sunday, Trump appeared to put some distance between himself and Mike Tyson, saying he didn't have a meeting with him and that he hasn't seen Tyson in years.
All right, well, Trace, thank you. So here with more on this and whether Mike Tyson and that issue will come up in the campaign. Trace just mentioned our next guest, who is radio host in Indiana, talk radio host, and the prosecutor back in the early 90s that successfully convicted Mike Tyson of rape. Greg Garrison joins us this evening, and also Charlie Hurt, political columnist at the Washington Times. Welcome, gentlemen. Good to have you both here tonight. Greg, let me start with you. You know, just sticking with the politics of this for a moment, do you think that this issue, given the polls and what you're seeing out there in Indiana, is it going to have any impact on this race tomorrow night?
Well, one thing you got to remember is that was 24 years ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a long time. There's an awful lot of people going to vote in this election, don't know who Tyson is, and don't even know that this stuff happened. So let's not make it something it's not. It was a little bit of a ready, fire, aim moment for Mr. Trump, who I just don't think was well advised at the moment. I expect he'd like to have that one back. There's nothing about Mike Tyson that makes anybody want to celebrate his endorsement. That was a great kid. She was 17 years old. She was 5'6", 106 pounds. Tore her clothes off of her and raped her.
That's bullshit. That's bullshit. You know, I've never seen a prosecutor that didn't believe that every single person that he prosecuted wasn't guilty, and that's pretty much why prosecutors don't prosecute police officers when everybody and their brother knows that the cops are guilty, and these prosecutors just don't want to get in there where you know, Stevie Wonder could see that the cops are guilty. So this guy is full of crap.
Her life. That's not the kind of thing that I mean, and I have no axe to grind with Mr. Trump. I think he's done some things for the Republican Party and for politics that's important. But in this particular case, to use a worn-out old rapist like that and claim him to be a tough guy, that's silly. He was a coward. Went after women, you know, and girls.
I understand what you're saying, and we know that Mike Tyson did 3 years for that conviction. When you look at the politics of this, Charlie, and you know, Greg may be right that the Trump campaign should have been more aware of the reverberations of this issue in Indiana. What does it reveal, perhaps, about the campaign?
Well, Mr. Garrison is exactly right about Mike Tyson, and hats off to any prosecutor who puts a guy like that behind bars.
That's bullshit. Prosecutors put innocent people behind bars, and like I said, everybody and their brother believes that Tyson got railroaded. That broad went up there to fuck, plain and simple. She got what she wanted, but then she got pissed off, and that's it in a nutshell.
But honestly, you know, to hear Ted Cruz try to gin this up into a big campaign, into a big issue now, at this point in the campaign, when polls show that he appears to be losing Indiana, when this endorsement came out, you know, 6 months ago, back in October, where was the outrage then? Where was where was the outrage from Ted Cruz back when he was nuzzling up with Donald Trump in all of the early debates? The answer is this is a political stunt The Cruz campaign is using it as a political thing, and this is exactly the kind of thing that voters are sick and tired of hearing from professional politicians. Tactics like this that have as despicable as Mike Tyson is, as despicable as what he did is, it has nothing to do with what is wrong with this country. And moreover, those actions don't happen to be Donald Trump's fault.
Closing thought, Mr. Garrison?
Well, it's yes and no. It's an unforced error. Trump didn't need this, and I suspect that nobody in Christendom knew that Tyson had said anything 6 months or a year ago. I don't see it as being something huge. Whether or not it's being ginned up, you got to remember who brought it up. I mean, I'm not taking a side here, but Ted Cruz didn't talk about Mike Tyson. Donald Trump did, and he brought it up.
Now, and it's not advancing the
Yeah.
campaign.
Well, you know what, at this stage of the game, as irrelevant as it is, as you point out, Charlie, in terms of what Indiana needs in the future from a president, we see this kind of stuff all the time in these final hours when, one candidate's behind and they sort of open themselves up to it.
All right, enough of that. This is just one prosecutor who had put a black male celebrity's scalp on his belt. Mike Tyson did not rape that chick, and screw Ted Cruz for bringing up an endorsement that took place 6 months ago.